Hello, hello, everybody. Happy Sunday. I hope you had an amazing weekend. I'm just going to wait a couple seconds here. People will start popping on. Um, I We have a keto reboot coming up, and what better time to get on here and ask Coach Rob some keto reboot questions since he is the master. There he is. I had him in. All right, he's loading now. Hey Rob, can you hear me all right? I
Sound
can see.
great.
Perfect, good. I can see you great. I just wanted to get on here tonight because we've got a keto reboot coming up, or monthly metabolic reset, and I thought who better to get on here to talk about the keto reboot than Coach Rob himself. He is one of the main coaches in the keto reboot group, and actually, I would love to just have you tell them a little bit about yourself, like what. Because I know you were instrumental kind of like in the formulation, like you've done a whole bunch of reboots before it even launched, right? So maybe tell them a little bit about your history with the reboot.
Yeah, for sure. How are you tonight? You doing good?
Wonderful.
Awesome.
Happy
Well, good stuff.
Sunday.
Awesome. Yeah. I'd love to take all the credit, but obviously this is a huge collective community endeavor. But it started out with one of my great friends. I call him Little Shane because he's smaller than my other friend, Big Shane. But Shane Frills, he's basically an underwear model, really strong believer and someone that is a great leader in our company. But, we were just kind of talking, and he's the one that actually introduced me to fasting. And, we wanted to walk the walk, not just talk the talk. And I'm the guy that, why would I fast? I mean, I don't want to lose muscle. I do everything I can as a 47-year-old man to keep muscle and going without food for a few days. And he's like, but we talk about the anti catabolic properties, or another way to say that is the muscle sparing or the muscle preservation and protective properties that ketones provide. And, what if just using ketones over the course of an extended fast, when I say extended, beyond just depleting glycogen, which is depleting probably a day and a half's worth of stored carbohydrates in your liver and muscle, and actually getting into ketogenesis, which is where we're true fat burning. That's kind of where the 60-hour mark came from. It wasn't just some number thrown out. And then I got together with Big Shane, who's a good friend of mine, Big Shane Davison, and he and another gal, Crystal Price, put this group together. And it started out with just a dozen of us, just kind of, hey, what if we started on a Sunday night? And I think it was right after Easter. I'd eaten a bunch of junk, and for 2.5 days we just did nothing but water and ketones. And I have access to a DEXA scan, an in-body 570 machine, so a lot of bioimpedance and ways to accurately measure body composition, or fairly accurately. And it was really telling to see, how much was water weight that was lost, how much body fat was lost, how much skeletal muscle mass was actually kept. And so we were just sold, wow, this is an incredible metabolic tool. It wasn't easy, but it was certainly metabolically beneficial. And so what started with a handful of people, with Little Shane, Big Shane, Crystal Price, turned into, several hundred people, then several thousand people. And then kind of the company was paying attention and formulating products that ended up becoming the Keto Reboot Kit. So
Perfect.
I believe this is our 6th or 7th corporate Keto Reboot. We call it the Metabolic Boss, where we just believe, one of the things we believe in is reboot education, is kind of letting the body rest and going through this natural process called autophagy, where the body kind of detoxes and cleanses itself. You can Google fasting benefits and whatnot. And the problem with that is it's difficult. We
Yeah.
don't want to be cranky, crabby, hungry, tired, no energy. We still got to be moms and dads and workers and bosses and coworkers and friends. And I've just found if you go without food intentionally, without the help of ketones, nobody's going to like you, and you're not going to like anybody. You might kill someone. So this reboot kit has been very instrumental in allowing now 50, 60,000 people, repeat customers month after month, which is very telling. It's one thing if it's a one and done, but we have 50, 60,000 people that do this each and every month around the world, quite literally, and it continues to grow. And the one thing we found was, yes, the education is very important. Yes, the Reboot Kit is very instrumental in making this happen, but it was the accountability and the encouragement of community. You know, so people like you that are leading groups of men and women and just kind of, you know, partnering up and saying, hey, who wants to be my accountability partner? Let's do this together. We found that that was the biggest variable to success. Well, you join us, you spend $79, you have about 4 days left to get this kit. On August the 19th, which is a Sunday night at 9 p.m., I'll kick off this next Keto Reboot, and you're going to have 50,000 people supporting you. You know, so if you get hungry or you get tired or you have a question, you just jump in the Keto Reboot group, and, you know, we kind of walk you through the entire 60-hour process, and people have quite literally life-changing, dare I say, in some instances, life-saving experiences. So it's been a tremendous tool. It's something I believe wholeheartedly. I've just never seen anything in my 3 decades as kind of a performance coach and health coach and nutrition coach, anything so impactful in such a short period of time. I mean, most things are 7 days or a 21-day challenge or a, you know, a 30-day, you know, cleanse or whatever. This is a 60 hours. So you begin Sunday night at 9 p.m. You finish up a Wednesday morning, and you're better for it. It's not always easy. You probably will get hungry, but a lot of people have some life-changing moments, and that's what has been real telling about the success.
Yes. And so I get this question a lot. Who is the Reboot for?
You know, let me tell you who it's not for. It's not for pregnant or nursing women. Just because we don't want any toxins to come out in the milk, and we don't want to alter the natural hormonal response of someone that's pregnant. It's not for diabetics, because although it could be extremely beneficial, we want to make sure they're under the care of their medical provider or physician. And it's not for anyone that has a history of an eating disorder. And likely it's not for anybody under the age of 18, but it's for everyone else. And maybe even more specifically, it's for everyone, including the elite athlete. It's everyone, including the stay-at-home mom, the dad, the, you know, the busy businessman or woman, you know. But again, I can't undersell how important this is for everyone. You know, a lot of times, especially in the fitness world, we think, well, gosh, what would a fast do for me? Well, just Google the benefits, you know. Again, this isn't about the 60 hours. It's what does that 60 hours mean to making a better you? And a great illustration, I think, is if you ask someone that wasn't a mechanic, that didn't know anything about cars, just if they thought it would be wise to change the oil regularly in the car and give it a tune-up and rotate the tires. Even someone that doesn't know anything about the function of the car would say, well, that makes sense. It would probably run better and last longer. And that's the equivalent of what we're doing. You know, we have this superhuman computer called the human body, and very few of us kind of change the oil or tune it up or rotate the tires. What we'll call, very few of us ever reboot our system. And that's exactly what we're doing. We're giving it digestive rest. We're forcing it to shift metabolic substrates as its primary fuel source. So everyone that enters this, at least the vast majority, are sugar burners, because we all have stored carbohydrates. And everybody will initiate a process called ketogenesis, ketone generation, where fatty acids, or love handles, are broken down in the liver and become ketone bodies. That literally becomes your body's food, and it's your body's natural response. It's a survival response, but also kind of a healing response. We can't make claims and use the word heal or fix or cure or treat, but it's the body's natural way of kind of ridding itself of damaged and diseased cells and toxins and things that reside in our stored in our fats. So it's something that's incredibly healthy for metabolic health long term. It's not just for these 60 hours. Dare I say, athletes typically are the most resistant because they don't want to go without nutritive energy sources. There's been a shift in that mindset. People that actually do their research, do their homework, go through this. A lot of people have their best workouts. A lot of people have their best recovery. A lot of people have their best sleep. And if they make this a steady practice once a month, they see performance on the long tail, you know, increase and improve. So that's kind of our goal, is to just create a platform where people can become better metabolically. So whether you follow a keto diet, you use carbs as your diet, you know, whether you're part of the standard American diet, look, we all have stresses from life, emotional, physical, environmental, psychological, and it's all these things that create buildup and things that our body needs to rid itself. And when we go and we create this shift in metabolic fuel sources from a sugar burner to a fat burner, and we rest our digestive system and not putting any caloric foods in our body outside of what's in this box, it's just been a very, very powerful tool for the everyday average person, and, you know, up to the elite athlete and everyone in between.
Wonderful. Yeah. So even someone who says, well, I have a clean diet, you know, I'm eating really, really healthy, like with an athlete or just with anyone in general, this is for them as well, because it does reach that deep cleanse and resets your metabolism, like you were saying. And so this, do you suggest someone do it once a month?
100%. You know, there's two words that I think most people will resonate with most people. It's anabolic. And I want you to think anabolic steroids. That's where most of us hear that word. But we think of building up. So anabolic is building, and then catabolic is breaking down. Think of catastrophe. So we've got these two words, anabolic. We've got anabolic hormones like testosterone, like human growth hormone, that we want to elevate naturally. But as we age, as there's stress in our life, as we don't eat perfectly, and again, I'm even speaking to the person that's in great shape. Look, when was the last time you rested your digestive gut? Well, you can't do that. That's physiologically impossible, biologically impossible, without stopping, you know, the digestive system from processing, absorbing, and assimilating food. And so this is just a way for someone to create kind of a maintenance plan, if you will. Again, my car is running fine, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to change the oil and rotate the tires and give it a tune-up on a regular service schedule. And that's what we're finding. And look, I would just tell people, do some homework, do some research, or just do the reboot one time, take some notes, journal the journey. We're real big on that. And notice what happens, because if we can increase levels of anabolic, of the good anabolic hormones in our body, if we can minimize, you know, things like inflammation and toxins in our body, and rid ourselves and create better digestive health, if we can do all that on a regular basis and just think of this as a monthly maintenance plan, watch what can happen in, you know, the span of several months, you know, over the course of a year. I think someone's metabolically healthier, no matter what level they're at, whether they're bad, out of shape, poor health, or great shape, you know, and great health. They're better because of doing this on a regular basis. And I think that's why we have this monthly reboot schedule.
Yes, I feel this will be my 5th one now, and I just feel like I'm looking forward to it each month. Like, it's so,
you know, isn't
incredible.
it crazy? Like, people actually look forward to not eating, and it's become a tool where people can get back on track. You know, I promote this. I'm about to do this beginning tomorrow, this lean and green, where it's just another tool. It's not part of Prove It, but these metabolic tools, like using ketones as a tool, and it's just a better calorie, in my opinion. Using the Reboot as a metabolic tool, as kind of monthly maintenance on your superhuman computer we call the body. Just using these tools on a regular basis helps ward off some of the things that we don't realize creates baggage metabolically. Like, people don't realize the role stress plays in your metabolic health. What poor sleep, you know, dare I say someone has a adult or alcoholic beverage, you know, what that means metabolically. And what if, you know, there's a system that allows us to kind of go be productive towards all those things and maybe right some of the wrongs in our body metabolically. That's just what we've seen. You know, this isn't something we threw together to create a transaction. This is something that really kind of started as an experiment, and it was the evidence, you know, the anecdotal and the experiential evidence and the stories of people breaking through plateaus. And, you know, a lot of it's psychologically creating their awareness, their emotional awareness with food. And just creating better relationship with how metabolically their body works. You know, a lot of people eat because it's lunchtime and they have an hour off for lunch, but never stop to think, am I actually hungry? Well, when you're going through a reboot, that becomes something you become aware of. Wow, I'm eating when I'm not even hungry. And that's a lot of times one of the problems. You know, I tell people, we don't get fat because we eat fat. We don't get fat because we eat carbs. We don't get fat because we eat protein. We get fat because we overconsume calories. It could be any or all of the above. And this just creates an awareness of, when are you eating? Why are you eating? What's the reason? Is it because of appetite, which is your emotional desire or need or want to eat, or because your watch says it's time, or is it actual hunger pangs? And so people experience a lot of the true survival traits that your body goes through. And I think using this kit helps create that possibility. You know, like I say, without the kit, I would say 1 or 2 out of 10 people make it. With the kit, you know, 8, 9, 10 out of 10 people make it, especially if they plug into our community.
Totally. I just love that everything you need is in that kit. I just love that. It's so simple. Just follow it. One more thing.
100%. You know, I think our goal all along is, look, our company, you know, Prove It as a company, and I'm an independent promoter. I'm just, you know, I'm no different than you. I'm just very passionate about the education piece and been a part of this brand since the start. Our goal and our initiative has never changed. It was customer acquisition through education. I believe if we educate people on keto reboots, what it means to do extended fasting, if we can educate people on using ketones as a caloric fuel source on a regular basis, if we can educate them on why and how to make that work as a tool, we'll acquire customers, and we'll acquire repeat customers who then will have results and inspire others. You know, there's so many people that I would never have reached, but because I helped coach someone using a couple of these tools, they had success maybe for the first time ever. They became a different person, a better boss, a nicer husband, or a nicer wife, or a better boyfriend. And now all of a sudden people start asking questions. Like, quite literally, it's life-changing in many ways for people. And that's kind of the cool residual impact. You know, we have a great opportunity with this company, but it's the residual impact that you can make, you know, just trying to help someone feel better. If I can make a mom more pleasant to her kids, or I can make a husband more pleasant to his wife, you know, that's a job well done as far as I'm concerned. I think we're seeing that just in droves. I mean, if I'll say this, I'll go on record and say this works for everyone. You know, saying ketones or this reboot doesn't work is like saying broccoli doesn't work. Well, when you ate broccoli, you got a lot of vitamin C and you got a lot of fiber. You know, you got the green, good nutrients from that broccoli. You know, you may not have felt it, you may not realized it, but there was something that happened that your body was provided with nutritionally. And that's the same thing with our product and our product kind of concept, and the DNA of our company is just, hey, let's go help people become better versions of themselves. When they do that, they'll inspire others on, and that'll help us expand the education.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Coach Rob. If you
How
guys have any...
about you? Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
I mean, is it hard for you? Like, I'll be honest, complete transparency, everyone is hard for me on the first day. Like, I'm hungry, probably a little edgy, a little cranky. Like, if I stay busy, I'm okay, you know, and it helps because I get to help coach people, so it holds me more accountable. How about you? How do you make it through? What's a best practice or a tip that you think you could share with people?
So basically, it goes by really fast. I just keep telling myself, okay, only 1 more or 2 more days. But the first day is easy, basically, because you eat normally, you have your tea at night. And then the first full day, where it hits me is in the evening, because that's where I want to eat for my relaxation time, you know, my reward at the end of the day. So that's where it kind of hits me, where I have to power through. But then you've got the time, I like to have the thyme bone broth in the evening, like warm, and I eat it with a spoon. So I feel like, you know, I'm eating something and I'm fine. And then a couple hours I have my tea, and then I just take it hour by hour, day by day. Just, you know, what's my next step? And two more hours I get my bone broth, or a couple more hours I get my ketones. So and everyone, it seems like hard when you're in it, but then you reach that point where that incredible energy hits and the euphoria, and that's usually in that second day for me. And then I'm like, okay, I can't wait to eat in the morning, but then I'm not even hungry. So I probably, I rarely end up eating before noon on that final morning when I can actually break my fast, because I finally tapped in to burning my body fat
One of
because I
the
can
things
feel it.
that really comes to light is how powerful our mind is, right? And I'll
Yeah.
give you a perfect example. There's a lot of people that use intermittent fasting. And if you're not familiar with that is, that's where you fast vast majority of the day. Popular one's called 16-8, where they're only eating 8 hours a day. So pretend someone's eating from 12 noon until 8 at night, and then they fast the remaining 16 hours. Well, when they reboot, now they do that every single day, but then when they reboot, they're never hungry until noon because they're used to eating at noon. But when they go through this reboot, I'll be darned, when they know they can't have anything, they're hungry at 9 in the morning. So it's just a pretty neat awareness of how powerful the brain becomes, and what role the mind plays, and really capturing and owning and understanding that helps so many people in the long game. Again, I've said it before, it's not just about these 60 hours. You're going to get the physical and the psychological benefit, but it's what does it mean the next 30 days until the next reboot? How can it help you the next 3 and 4 weeks? And that's where we're seeing tremendous success. We call it optimization, but in between the reboots. But look, I just appreciate you inviting me on, asking me questions so we could get this information out. And let me
Exactly.
ask you one more question. What is one tip for women? Okay, they're busy, whatever, but they're at that breaking point. And I tell people, look, have a trigger. Know what your trigger is. Is it phone a friend? Is it brush your teeth? Is it go for a walk? What is your one tip on someone? They're on the ledge. They're just going to say the heck with it. I'll do it next month. What is your one tip to back them off the ledge and realize, look, just go do this. Make this a practice or make this a trigger. You'll get through it and you'll be glad you didn't cave in.
Yeah, it's just better to just do it, and we've got the support there for them. I like to encourage like really self-care, taking a bubble bath, getting a
Mm,
massage, walking, journaling, really going within, because all that digestion energy that's being freed up is going up into your brain. So now you have more mental energy, and it's a better place to be to kind of reassess like your goals, for instance, to write down your
yep.
goals, where you are. Like I love that aspect because it's a total turning in and listening to the mind chatter that's going on all about food
Right.
and cravings. And yeah, so just to become the observer of your thoughts, this is like the perfect time to do that, is during a reboot, and just take advantage of that.
Awesome. Well, thanks again for having me on. If there's anything else we can do, let us know. And gosh, I guess people have about 4 more days. Kits are on sale this week, so we'll have time as a company to ship them out. But reach out anytime I can help. Thanks so much.
Wonderful. Any questions, guys, just post them down below and we'll get back to you later. Thanks so much, Coach Rob. Have a great night.
All right, you too. Bye-bye.
Hey, bye-bye.